What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, making their debut on the channel tonight, we have the Delgados. Yes, indeed. How about that? The Delgados making their debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi-bobbidi bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Scott, and Scott wanted to see me react to this. It is the Delgados with a tune called The Light Before We Land. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard this song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I do recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Kurokeko-chan. Yeah, Kurokeko-chan. Sure, we'll go with that. And the video has 372,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. The Light Before We Land. That's all I got. There's no mention of the Delgados anywhere. I really hope we're in the right spot. Look, this is the link I was given, okay, by Scott. Scott gave me the link, so I'm using his link. If we're not in the right place, don't blame me, blame Scott. I'm just using what was given to me, okay? So hopefully we're in the right spot. I guess we'll find out. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Oh my God, it is so overdriven. It is so overdriven. The bottom end, bass, the kick drum, the guitars, all just overdriving, peaking. Just peaking and overloading. It is, oh my God. That is not fun to listen to. I hope this cleans up and it cleans up fast. Because that is not pleasant at all. Wow.
In cases such as these, I'd like to have. Don't wake me up without a master plan.
Sounds better.
With sight and sound becoming fragile, don't you
I just can't. And the funny thing is, it's such a shame. It's such a shame because there's a lot of good happening in this song. There's a lot of good things happening in this song. The vocal harmonies are just top notch. I do feel like they are being a little overly used, just ever so slightly overly used, but they sound so good that a little overusage is okay. You know, I think their harmonies are one of the selling points of this act. So it's fine. If they use their harmonies more than what they're using them, that could be a problem though. So they're walking a very fine line when it comes to the vocal harmony usage, but it sounds so good. I'm not mad at it. I like the idea of the song. I like the vision of the song. The verse into the pre-chorus into the chorus. That makes perfect sense. I like the pre-chorus. I know that's going to sound really weird coming from me considering what I'm going to say about it. I like the fact that it strips down. I like the fact that several voices pull out. All the string tones, all the organ tones, it gets stripped down to bass, guitar, and vocals. Bass kind of acting like the lead instrument, working a counter melodic line against her melodic line in the vocals. I like that approach. It thins out. It thins the song out a little bit, allows those particular instruments to shine. But on the flip, the verse is very full sounding, a lot of power in there, but not too much power. The chorus is the hook, without question. I like the chordal movement in there. 1 to the major 3 to the major 2 to the octave major 2, so the 9. And then going back to the root again, to the major 3 to, I believe we go to the 4 after that. I'll have to hear it again. But I was really kind of intrigued with the movement of the chordal progression in the chorus. It's very pleasing to the ear in some unexpected ways. Like 1 to the 3 to the 4. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's very natural. That ascending line. Yeah, skip the 2, go right to the 3, the major 3, up to the 4. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But the 1 to the major 3 down to the major 2, jump up an octave to the 2 above, that's a little unusual to go back to the root off of. That's different. And here's the thing. It's different, yes, but it sounds good. It sounds pleasing to the ear. I like a lot of what's happening in this song. Unfortunately, all the good that's being done is being overshadowed by that god-awful main riff. That is just, it's an E, and it's seriously being overdriven in the lower end. And the thing is, who do you blame for that? I can tell you exactly who you blame for that. Whoever engineered and mixed this. It is 100% their fault. They have one job to do. Just one job. Take the audio tracks from the recording and blend them and mix them in a way that is pleasing to the ear and make it sound as good as possible. I cannot imagine any engineer worth a damn that is going to sit there behind their console, listen to that overdriven, muddy, gross nonsense, and go, well, that's the best I can do. No, it's not. If that's If that's the best you can do, you need to find another line of work because that sounds awful. I'm sorry, but it is literally ruining the song. That is just absolute nonsense. And don't even try to tell me that that was done on purpose. No, it was not. If it was done on purpose, they'd be doing it more frequently. They'd be doing it more often. And don't tell me that that's the best they could do because they didn't have a choice because that's just how it came out. No, it's not. Because everywhere else in the song, you don't hear that. You don't hear that overdriven, peaking nonsense. You just don't. It's only in these, it's happened a couple times, but whenever they go down to the E, that's the only time it happens. So it can be fixed. This absolutely should never have happened. This falls squarely on the shoulders of the engineer. I blame the engineer 100% for that. I do not blame the band for this at all. Unfortunately, having said that, though, I'm reacting to, evaluating, and scoring the product that I'm given. So while I may not blame the band for this, and folks, I want to make that very clear. I do not blame the band for this. I don't. But at the end of the day, I got to use what's given to me. And this, it's such a shame. It's such a shame that a song that has so much going for it has this just painfully mixed section that unfortunately is the main riff of the song. Going down to that E, that's how we kicked in. And then we've come back to it 3 times now. And with 1:55, I'm willing to bet, with 1:55 left, I'm willing to bet we're going to come back to it again. I wouldn't be surprised if the song ended with that riff. Just, oh God, I would dread. I hope I'm wrong. I wouldn't be shocked if the end of the song, like the last 40 to 45 seconds of the song, maybe a little more, is just that riff looping over and over and over. So we get to listen to that overdrive going nonstop for over 45 seconds. I hope I'm wrong, boy. I really do, because I do not want to hear that. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It is spine tingling. All right, let's find out. I hope, pray with me here, folks. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever wanted to be more wrong about something in my entire life, but I really hope I'm wrong about my prediction for the end of the song. Let's find out, shall we? This is fine.
Convince us we are free. Remind us how we used to feel before, when life was real.
The bass coming in with that counter melodic line. I like that. Okay, right there, bass player played an E, an open E, 4th string, boom. And we didn't get any overdrive. We didn't get any clipping. We didn't get any peaking. So it can be done. I don't understand this.
And when I feel right, I can feel once again. Let me stay a while.
not 45 seconds. Well, the song did end on the vamping, but it only lasted for about 20 seconds, thankfully. Oh. It's so funny. It's so funny. This song really kind of is a direct parallel to human nature. Like, you have an individual, right? And this individual does a lot of good. A lot of good. You know, he does so many things right. And each time he does something right, he takes a step forward, you know, and he builds rapport, he'll build relationships, and he every time he does something right, it's a step forward. And then he does one thing wrong. And all of that forward progress is wiped out. It's just gone. And if he's lucky, he might be able to start over again. There's a lot of times where there's just no recovering. There's no recovering. It depends on the severity of and what type of thing he did wrong. You know, if it's criminal, well, there may not be any recovery from that. You know, if it's not criminal, if it's just, you know, an accident, a mistake, whatever, it may not even be his fault. But if he did it, all that forward progress is wiped out. And if he's lucky, he might get a chance to start over again. This is that song. This song is that correlation with human nature in a nutshell. So many things they did right. And unfortunately, all those things that the song did right are completely overshadowed because of one careless flaw by the engineer. God! It's not fair. I know. Listen, I know it's not fair. I will freely acknowledge it's not fair. But that's reality, unfortunately. Oh boy. Okay. Let me get my thoughts together. Let me try to salvage as much as I can from this. And I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was the Delgados with The Light Before We Land. This was a request from Scott. Okay. I did everything I could to get this score as high as I could possibly get it. But unfortunately, not anywhere near as high as I honestly think it deserves to be, where it could have been. You'll see what I'm talking about. I promise. And I know it's not fair, guys. I'm just going to go on record right now, and I'm just going to say I understand and I agree that the circumstances behind this score are not fair. I fully acknowledge that. But unfortunately, it's a reality. So it sucks, but it is what it is. So let's get to the score, and I'll explain how we ended up there. The good news is we are in the positives. We're not in the negatives. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 6.4. Yep, 6.4. I feel, well, I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I don't feel good about it. I really don't. But it is the score that I feel this song deserves. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay. First things first, a 6.4. What does that mean? Well, like I said, we are in the positives. A 6.4 would translate to a pretty good scale rating because overall, I think this is a pretty good song. It would also get 3 out of 5 stars and a B as in boy, B- letter grade. Yeah, let that one sink in. So there you go, a 6.4, pretty good skill rating, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B- letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? Ha ha ha! So glad you asked. Okay, I used the analogy about human behavior, human coalition between, or correlation between this song and human behavior. I talked about it at length, so I really don't want to talk about it at length again. Just, you know, you take all these steps forward, and all it takes is one thing to go wrong, and you get pushed all the way back to square one again. And if you're lucky, you might get to start over, if you're lucky, and try again. So I know this fact quite well. I've seen it happen a lot of times. It's even happened to me a few times. So I have personally lived through that, and it's not fun to live through. This song reminds me of that so much. There are so many good things going for this song. The instrumentational choice, I like it. The string usage, mixing in with the guitars, the bass, the keyboards, the drums. Not just a drum set, but I actually heard concert percussion being utilized in there. I love the glockenspiel usage. I thought that was really appropriate, and it definitely added to the song with its voicing. The chordal progression made sense. I had no issue with any of the notational selection or the chordal selection. Everything fit, everything moved and flowed very naturally. I definitely think the strength of the song is in the vocal delivery, the harmonies. I do feel like the harmonies were just overused ever so slightly, but they were so nice and they sounded so well done that I didn't really mind it. It does stand out a little bit, but it's not in an unpleasant way. Like, it didn't destroy the song. No, that's something else completely. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. No, the strongest point of the song was the vocal delivery, in particular the harmonies. Very full sounding, very complimentary. I'm willing to bet that was one vocalist doing all of the vocal parts. Just, you know, different takes, and then they stack them together, work on the pitch correction and Pro Tools and whatnot, and you end up with that. But the vocal harmonies were extremely well done. It sounded very nice, very natural. You know, there's a saying in the music industry: no one's going to harmonize with you like you. You know, your voice is going to blend best with your voice. So you'll hear a lot of artists, you know, do all the vocal harmonies themselves because you're not going to get a better sound than that. There are, and there have been exceptions to that rule. There have been artists who have had a backing vocalist where the voices just blend beautifully. They are rare. They are very rare, but it does happen on occasion. It does. So, not impossible, but I have a feeling the lead vocalist did all of the vocal work. I honestly, if it had not been for one factor, I would have enjoyed the song a lot more. And like I said, I don't blame the band for this at all. This came down to engineering, and I don't know who engineered this, but they definitely need to look for a different line of work, because this, oh goodness, I just don't understand the consistent inconsistency. Every time we got to that section, every time we got to that one riff, it peaked. It overdrive itself, and it just cracked and got garbled, and it really destroyed that section. Which is funny, because other parts of the song, there were other places, So it's not a notational issue, because there were other places in the song where, you know, the ensemble would hit the exact same chord, that E, that low E, and there was no overdrive. There was no peaking. There was no clipping. There was no nothing. It sounded clean. It was only when we got to that particular riff, when we got to that main riff of the song, that things went to hell. And I don't understand how any engineer who's worth a damn could possibly listen to that and not see the problem, not see the issue and go, oh, I see the problem. This is too high. Now, what might have happened is they got some Joe Blow amateur to, you know, just come in and do his best. And his idea of blending is, I'll just raise everything on the mixing board until everything matches up. You do understand those sliders work both ways, right? So instead of raising everything up to match with the loudest voice, how about you just take the loudest voice and pull it back? That would make a lot more sense. And then when you're ready to press and you're ready to master, you just take the master bus. You just ever so slightly move it up. That's all you gotta do. If even that, maybe if you just lower the highest voice down a little bit, the loudest voice, just slide it back a little bit, maybe that'll solve all the problems. It could. But if you're gonna push everything else up, if you're gonna push those 30 plus other voices up to match the level that the loudest voice is at, well, I got some bad news for you. You're gonna end up with problems like this, where everything is being clipped and everything is being overdriven and everything is peaking. And you see that little red light that says peak or clip? You see that? I'll bet you anything on that section that lit up like an operator's board in the 1920s, you know, during Christmas season. It was probably flashing for its life, going, hey, look at me, I'm lit up. You need to address this problem. But unfortunately, the guy didn't realize it, or was, I hate to say it, but might have been too stupid to realize what it is, and didn't take it into account, didn't address the issue, and left it as it is. And as a result, we ended up with the main riff of the song being overdriven and putting a serious damper on the overall presentation. Folks, I'm not gonna lie to you. This song, if that had not happened, we would not be in the 60s. We would be at least a full point higher. And we would be at least a 7.4. If I'm being honest, I could have seen this getting like a 7.6 or a 7.7. It's a really nice piece of music. It's such a shame that the main freaking riff, unfortunately got wrecked due to poor engineering. So it's a shame. And again, I understand it's not fair. I fully agree with you. But it is what it is. So 6.4. It kills me to say that. 6.4. I don't feel good about it, but that is the score that I think this deserves. So yeah, 6.4. Let's wrap this up before I get any more infuriated. So we got a 6.4, which is a pretty good scale rating, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B as in boy, B- letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care. Whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's gonna do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hopefully you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off. reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later, peace.